You'd think trading would get easier over time. But the longer I stayed in the markets, the more complicated things felt. I had more strategies, more indicators, more YouTube videos bookmarked than I could ever finish. And yet, my results didn't get better. They got worse. That's when I realized something powerful. In trading, complexity feels like progress, but it's often just procrastination in disguise. We chase new tools because we're scared of sticking to just one. We study more because we're afraid to commit. We build intricate systems hoping one of them will finally save us. Sound familiar? If you've ever found yourself overwhelmed by your own charts, or second-guessing every decision because of a new indicator you saw on Twitter, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. You're simply caught in what I call the complexity trap. The belief that more equals better. But here's the truth. Simplicity in trading isn't easy. It's a skill, a mental discipline, and it takes real emotional strength to build. When I first heard the phrase, simple trading system, I scoffed. Simple sounded lazy, amateur, like I'd be giving up the edge that complexity offered. But here's what no one tells you. Complex systems don't make better traders. Clear thinking does. And clear thinking comes from one thing: a simplified mindset. So in this video, we're not going to talk about some new indicator or secret setup. We're going to do something far more powerful. We're going to simplify the way you think about trading itself. We'll talk about why your brain craves complexity, even when it hurts your results. How overthinking creates emotional sabotage. The 3 mental shifts that help me go from analysis paralysis to clear, confident action. And how you can build a repeatable, simplified mindset, starting today. Because the problem isn't that you don't know enough. It's that you know too much and don't trust any of it. And if you've ever felt like you need one more thing before you're ready to trade, or like you have all the information but no conviction, or that your own mind is your biggest obstacle, then this video is made exactly for you. Let me ask you something, and be honest. How many times have you studied a new strategy, only to abandon it after one bad trade? How many indicators do you actually understand? And how many are just there because they look smart? Drop a comment below. At some point, I had to ask myself a hard question. If I already know enough about trading, why am I still not consistent? The truth hurt. It wasn't my strategy. It wasn't the market. It was me. More specifically, my mental state. I was operating in a constant fog of doubt, overthinking, and self-sabotage. And the worst part? I thought this was normal. Every morning, I would stare at my charts and feel a wave of mental noise. Is this the right entry? What if this is a fake breakout? Maybe I should wait for more confirmation. By the time I convinced myself to act, the move was already over, and I'd beat myself up for missing it. Or worse, enter too late and lose. It was a vicious cycle. Then one day, I heard something that hit me like a brick. You don't need more information. You need better filtration. That changed everything. I realized my problem wasn't ignorance. It was mental clutter. I was trying to trade while carrying the weight of 100 voices in my head. That's not clarity, that's chaos. So I started doing something radically different. Before I opened any charts, I asked myself 3 questions. What's my mental state today? What fear or bias might show up? What's my one rule for today's trade? That last one was the key. Not 5 rules, not a checklist of 20 signals, just one clear rule. For example, if price breaks the daily high with volume, I'll enter. If not, I don't trade. Simple, binary, clear. And for the first time, I could feel the noise quiet down. This process of resetting my mindset before trading became my edge. I call it the mental reset ritual. It's not fancy. It takes less than 3 minutes, but it saves me hours of emotional damage later. Because when I sit down to trade now, I'm not guessing, I'm executing. So if you're stuck in mental chaos, here's my challenge to you. Before your next trade, don't ask, what's the market doing? Ask, what is my mind doing? Because if you're unclear on the inside, no amount of external clarity will help. Quick question for you. What's one belief or thought that always messes with your trades? Let me know in the comments. The first step to mastering it is naming it. In the next part, I'll share the simplification principle that allowed me to stop switching systems and finally trust one strategy long enough to see real results. But before we go there, remember this. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be focused. And focus comes. There was a time I thought the more strategies I had, the safer I was. Scalping, I studied it. Swing trading, tried that too. Indicators, I collected them like trophies. But instead of feeling empowered, I felt exhausted. Every morning became a decision-making nightmare. Which strategy should I use today? Is this a trend day or range day? What if my setup doesn't apply here? So I jumped between methods, changed rules mid-trade, blamed the market every time I lost. Sound familiar? Here's the painful truth I learned. The problem wasn't the system. The problem was my lack of commitment. I was addicted to the illusion of finding a better strategy, because that was easier than mastering the discipline to follow one. But trading doesn't reward curiosity. It rewards consistency. So I did something terrifying. I picked one simple system and committed to it for 90 days. No tweaking, no hopping, no adding just one more filter. And something incredible happened. At first, I still felt doubt. I still wanted to override my rules. But the longer I stuck with it, the more I realized that consistency wasn't about the system. It was about training my brain to trust it. Because when you repeat the same process over and over, you eliminate noise, you build pattern recognition, you reduce emotional reactivity. You start to see trading not as prediction, but as execution. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine trying to learn the piano, but switching songs every 5 minutes. You'd never master one piece, and you'd always feel almost good. That was me in trading. So when I committed to one system, I finally gave my mind the chance to settle. And in that stillness, I found power. Let me share what my power of one system looked like. One time frame, 15-minute chart. One signal, reversal candlestick at support resistance. One rule, enter only if the setup forms within the first 2 hours of market open. One goal, max 1 trade per day. Simple, boring even. But that boredom became my profit engine. Because I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't chasing. I was focused. Ask yourself this. What would happen if you stuck to one strategy for just 30 days? What might change, not just in your results, but in your confidence? Leave a comment and let me know. And if the thought scares you, that might be exactly why you need to try it. In the next part, we'll dive into how your environment and habits affect your trading mindset more than you realize, and how to build a system outside the charts that protects your system inside the charts. But for now, most traders think their problem is on the chart. The setup didn't work. The entry was too late. The market was too choppy. But here's what I've learned, the hard way. Your trading problems usually start before you even open your charts. They begin in your routines, your sleep, your stress level, your phone notifications. They begin in the life you're living outside of trading. I used to think I could outwork my bad habits, that I could be mentally sharp after 4 hours of sleep and 3 cups of coffee, that I could make clear decisions while juggling texts, social media, and YouTube videos in the background. Spoiler, I couldn't. I didn't have a discipline problem. I had an environment problem. So I started designing my trading mindset outside the charts. Here's what changed everything. 1. Morning reset routine. Before I checked price, I checked myself. Did I sleep well? What's my emotional tone this morning? Am I trying to make up for something? 5 minutes of honest self-reflection saved me hours of bad trading. 2. No trade is a win. I used to think not trading meant I was lazy. Now I know. Discipline is shown by the trades you don't take. If my system isn't there, if my mind isn't ready, if I'm distracted or emotionally charged, I walk away. That's not weakness. That's professional. 3. Create mental boundaries. I set hard rules for trading hours. No checking charts randomly throughout the day. No trade reviews after 8 p.m. No financial content during rest time. Why? Because trading is not 24/7. Your nervous system isn't designed for it. Rest is part of the process. 4. Journaling for awareness, not judgment. Every day, I log my mental state, not just wins and losses. I write things like, felt impulsive after back-to-back losses, entered too early, trying to prove I was right, didn't sleep well, should have skipped today. This isn't about shaming myself. It's about building emotional fluency. You can't change what you don't track. And when you track your mindset, patterns emerge, and power returns. Quick question. What's one habit outside of trading that's been quietly sabotaging your performance? Sleep? Distractions? Lack of reflection? Comment below, and consider changing just one thing this week. In the next part, I'll walk you through what I call the mental reset protocol, the 3-minute routine I do every day before placing a trade, which has completely changed my execution and consistency. But here's what I want you to take with you today. Your mindset isn't something you have. It's something you build, on purpose. And the way you live outside of trading is... I used to think that success in trading came down to perfect timing. If I could just enter at the exact right second, if I could just catch that move, if I could just react faster. But the more I traded, the more I realized it's not about speed, it's about state. Your mental state when you click that button is more important than the button itself. You can have the right setup, but if your mind is clouded with doubt, revenge, or fear, you'll sabotage it every time. So I built a simple tool. It's not a new strategy. It's not some magic indicator. It's a ritual. a repeatable mental reset I do before every trading session. I call it the Mental Reset Protocol. Here's how it works. Before I place a trade, I pause for just 3 minutes. No charts, no notifications, just me and this checklist. 1. Scan my state. I ask, what am I feeling right now? Is this emotion helpful or harmful? Naming the emotion gives me power over it. 2. Recall the why. I remind myself, I trade for consistency, not excitement. One trade means nothing. The process means everything. This recenters my brain. 3. Visualize the execution. I close my eyes for 10 seconds. I imagine seeing the setup, clicking in, setting the stop, walking away. Mental rehearsal reduces hesitation. I've already done it in my mind. Now I just follow through. 4. Accept the outcome before it happens. I tell myself, this trade can win or lose. I'm okay either way. This one shift changed everything. Because when I enter a trade without needing it to work, I trade cleanly, detached, professional. This entire routine takes 3 minutes, but the impact? Massive. Fewer impulsive trades, fewer emotional spirals, more consistency, more peace. I used to think emotional control meant feeling nothing, but now I know. Emotional mastery means feeling everything and still choosing your actions deliberately.